So to begin step 15, we're going to talk about movement mindset. And what does a movement mindset mean? It means that we have to think about movement. We have to want to move. We have to try to implement it into our daily life. And so I tell this story about when we were up in Traverse City hiking the Pierce Stocking Sand Dune. If you've never been to Traverse City, Michigan, it's beautiful, fresh water, Lake Michigan, the sand is soft. And there's this Pierce Stocking Sand Dune and it's 450 feet straight down into Lake Michigan. And so people come there and they take pictures, they hike the sand dune, they jump in the water. And so I went down the sand dune with my father and my sister and my brother-in-law, and we jumped in the water and we were looking up at this hill, 450 feet straight up, sand, it's hot, it's hard. I looked at my father and we were talking about, what if everybody could go down and back up the Pierce Stocking Sand Dune? Imagine how good they would be feeling. Imagine some of the ailments and surgeries that they would avoid because they're thinking about movement. And so we hiked back up, and I tell this story, my mom didn't go down the first time because it looks hard, and she was worried that she wouldn't be able to make it back up. And I talked her into going down with me and coming back up, and this really hit me because when I looked at her coming up, she was smiling so wide. She was vibrant and she was happy because now she showed herself that she could do it. And so when we talk about a movement mindset, some of you aren't moving like you want to. Some people want to start an exercise program, but they don't know where to begin. Before we talk about exercise and the X's and O's and how to stand and do the right thing, we just want you to focus on a movement mindset. You have to add movement daily because you're going to want to move in the future. As we continue in step 15 about the movement mindset, we want to talk about the benefits. Everybody knows there's endless benefits to movement and exercise. And what are they? Well, it could be cardiovascular, strength, endurance, balance, flexibility. But what I think sometimes people don't focus on is the benefit for the mind. Daily movement allows us to wash the mind. And what does that mean? Well, every single day we're getting all this information, we're using our brain and we're using our mind. And if we don't give ourselves movement, it's really hard for us to wash and calm the mind down. So as you think about exercise and daily movement, yeah, physical, it's strength, endurance, it's how you look, but it's also the mind. And so the benefits of exercise are endless. After we talk about the benefits of exercise and we understand that the benefits of exercise are endless, we got to ask the question, why don't we exercise? Only 20% of the population exercises, 20%. 80% of us don't exercise. And so we got to break this down. We got to break this barrier. Why don't we exercise? I think there's two big reasons. Number one, time. Many of us think we need a bunch of time to be successful with our exercise. You don't need a bunch of time. You could start with 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes here, doing a couple stretches here. You don't even have to go to the gym. So time is just an initial excuse that we have to overcome. Number two is energy. If you don't have energy to move, it's hard to move. And I talk about myself, I don't sometimes wake up and have the energy to move, but I prioritize movement, and so I go to the gym or I go for the run, and that creates the energy. And so when we conquer those two barriers of time and energy, then we start having the ability to believe we can create an exercise program that works for us. All right, now the fun begins. Where are we going to begin? And so everybody's in a different spot. Everybody watching this video is in a different spot. So I want you to ask a question of yourself. Where are you currently at? Where do you want to go? If you're exercising 0 times in a week, okay, can we start with 1 day a week doing 5 to 10 minutes? Maybe you've joined a gym or you're part of an exercise class, but you're just not getting the results you want. So you're going to try to get more efficient, more effective. So as we move through these steps, here's what I want you to think about. Where are you going to begin? You're going to start by making a small step. Dynamic warm-up. Maybe it's focusing on posture and alignment. Maybe it's adding strength training. Maybe it's increasing your intensity on the cardio equipment. Wherever you're at, all we're going to do is we're going to start with a small step. And these small steps will become habits. And once you have a habit, you got a plan you can sustain. Okay, as we wrap up step 15, we got to talk about weight loss. When I'm in my seminars, I kind of smile because I ask the question, how many people want to lose weight? And almost 90% of the hands go up. 90% of people that I work with say they want to lose weight, but yet they're not losing weight. And so the message with exercise is it's not the only way to lose weight. And like my father has told me for a long time, and I've heard him say this to many people, you can't outtrain a bad diet. So there's more involved to losing weight. You gotta sleep, you gotta eat right, you gotta exercise. So don't just look at weight loss as the outcome from exercise. There's so many other outcomes. The weight will come, movement's part of the process. So leaving this step, what we want you to think about is you gotta have a movement mindset. How are you gonna move the body on a daily basis? Number 2 is you gotta start with small steps. So whether you haven't done an exercise in a year, or maybe you're doing a program that you need to modify and change, pick 1 or 2 steps, 1 or 2 habits that you can implement into your program so that you can have something that's sustainable for a long time to come.